This could be life-changing. Do any of you have that problem where if you go to a party, first of all, you didn't want to go, but then you're sitting outside and you say to yourself, you know what? I can't even walk in that room. I don't want to be in a room with all those fakes and those people, right? How many of you have that social anxiety where you, I can't talk to these strangers? A lot of you, right? I'm going to give you a reframe now that will fix it. You ready for this? This will change your life. It really will. I've heard from people who say it changed their life. They just heard it once, changed their life. It goes like this. First of all, everybody has social anxiety. Now, maybe not everybody, but 90%. So the first thing you need to know is that everybody else is pretending. As soon as you think you're the only one pretending to be, comfortable and that everybody else has figured out how to do this, that's not the case. They're all uncomfortable. 10% are kind of crazy narcissists who like the excitement. 10%. 90% are exactly what you're feeling. Oh, who am I going to talk to? What do I do with my hands? Did I make a fool of myself? Can I just make an excuse to leave? Why should I pretend to get another drink? All right, here's what you need to know. If you had studied the Dale Carnegie approach for making conversation, you would know the technique for walking up to any stranger and just starting a pleasant conversation that the other person would, when you're done, say, I like that guy, or I like that person. And it's easy. I've taught you this many times. All you do is you ask questions about the other person and you listen with interest. That's it. If you walk up to somebody and try to make a joke to a stranger, which is what I used to do before I learned how to do this, I would think, well, if I'm funny, like I'll bond right away. Never really worked. You can get lucky and hit somebody who has your exact sense of humor, and then something can happen. But it's not a good general approach. Most people are not going to laugh, and it's just not going to lead to anything. But if you walk up and say your name, hi, I'm Scott. That's always first. Hi, I'm blah, blah. If they don't say who they are, you say, what's your name? And then you ask them just basic questions about them. It would depend on, what was the point of the thing. So you might say, hey, where are you from, or who do you know? Or you could even ask, what do you do for a living? If the conversation goes, do you have kids? Are you planning a vacation? What school do your kids go to? If you ask just those basic questions, the other person will feel comfortable because they know the answer to the questions. They know their name, they know where they work, they know where the kids go to school, unless it's the father. And then that's comfortable because all they're doing is answering easy questions, and it looks like you're interested in them. Solves every problem. All right, so I just solved how to talk to a stranger. If you don't think that works, try it once. It works. It works every time. Show interest, ask questions, and don't do a big monologue about you. If they want to know about you, they'll ask. You don't even have to say anything about you. But usually, if just a few questions, you can find something you have in common. So you might say, so what do you do for a living? And the person tells you their job, and you go, I'm so interested in that. Like, how does that work? How'd you get into that? So, and if it's something about kids, if you have kids about the same age, you got lots to talk about. So you're looking for that thing you can talk about, the jumping off point, and the questions are just to get you to that. All right, now you have a skill that I just taught you that the other 90% of the people who have bad social anxiety don't have. So what are they going to do? They're going to go there and think, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. But I solved it for you. Just walk up to somebody who looks uncomfortable, introduce yourself, ask some questions, and then the next thing you need to know is how to leave. How to stop talking to somebody, because you don't want to get trapped and you think, oh, I found one person to talk to. I'll just stay here all night until they hate me. No, you have to leave. You want to give them just enough of you that they got enough, but not too much. So here are some ways to leave people without being rude. If you've talked to them enough and you've asked them questions and you've showed some interest, they're done. They don't need you to stay there all night. So here's what you say. It was really great meeting you. I want to do a little mingling, and I'll catch up with you later. Everybody is there to do mingling. So if you say, it was great talking to you, I got to go do some mingling, they get it because they probably have to do the same thing. So that's not awkward. Or you could say, can I refill your drink? If they don't want to spend more time with you, they're going to say, oh, no, I'm fine. And then you go away to refill your own drink and don't come back. Or you say, I'm going to use the restroom. Or you say, you see somebody. Here's another good one. You say, oh, I have to talk to Bob. Excuse me. It was great talking to you. And then you go directly over to Bob, if you know Bob. The other thing is, if you don't know a single person there, if you don't know anybody, I always recommend looking for the alpha female. Most events have at least one alpha female, and you can pick them out. They're the ones flitting from one place to the other, and everybody's giving them attention. Maybe they're the organizer. Maybe it's the person who invited you. But if you attach to them, the alpha female, men will do it too, but the alpha females are a little bit better. They will introduce you to whoever they're standing next to. So you just walk up to them and, hi, Betty, thanks for inviting me. And they go, oh, glad you made it. Have you met so-and-so? And here's so-and-so. And now you know 3 people that you could say hi to at any time during the party. All right, so now you know the technique, but now I'm going to get to the good part, okay? Here's the payoff. You're sitting in your car outside the party, and you've got that anxiety about going in. Reframe it. Here's the reframe. You're going to rescue all those other people who have social anxiety. You're not the person with social anxiety. You're the solution. So you walk in there and you find somebody who looks uncomfortable, and you walk right up to them and you solve their problem by being the person who knows how to start a conversation, which you are now. And when you're done with that person, you say, great to meet you. I've got to do a little more mingling. You find another person and you save them too. You can spend your whole night saving people, and boy, will they appreciate it. There's nothing that the other people want more than a friendly person to come up to them and start a conversation. They all want that. You are their hero if you can do that for them. Your hero. So you're not going there as this weak little person who's in the 10% who can't figure out how to start a conversation with a human being. That's not who you are. You are already, because I just trained you, and it was that easy. It really is that easy. I just taught you how to be the most effective person in the party. And you will be. You simply have to do what I just said. Just learn how to ask questions, learn how to introduce yourself with eye contact and a handshake, and learn how to leave. If you learn those very simple things, which you just did, basically, you just learned them, you are no longer a victim of social anxiety. It'll take you a few practice runs, but once you've done it like twice, you'll never have anxiety again. You'll say, oh, well, I did it twice in a row, and it was super easy, and everybody seemed to be happy about it. I got all these phone numbers and made some friends. So that's a reframe in my book, Reframe Your Brain. Now, when I tell you that this is the kind of book that changes people's lives, that's what I mean, right? So some of you didn't need that. It had no value to you whatsoever. But 100% of you know somebody who needs it, don't you? 100% of you know somebody that you're already thinking, oh, man, I want to get a clip of that and show my friend that will really help them. I hope this gets clipped. Probably will be.